years and 40 years, what is your favorite sermon that you've preached?
Wow, now that's a good one. Hopefully the one I'm going to do this weekend. The one I'm working on right now. It's got to be my favorite. Strange thing. It wasn't on a Sunday morning. It was a Sunday night communion. And I dealt with that widow of Zarephath who says to the prophet, we are going to eat this and die. And I talked about don't make plans for your funeral. It is, she says, come on, look at the pathos in it. We're going to eat this whole cake, and she announces, and we're going to die. That's the death of hope right there. And I remember that Sunday night, how that blessed people to hold on. It's one of my favorites. Now, Matthew is so funny. My communion messages are really some of my favorite ones. And it's not, as you know, in most churches, communion isn't the biggest service. Not like the old days, Sunday morning communion. Everybody came first Sunday morning. Right. Now we do ours first Wednesday night. Some people do theirs different times. Yeah.
So what is it about the communion service that's so meaningful to you?
Man, well, two things. Number one, I remember the ones in my childhood and how meaningful those deaconess in their white, their deacons in their black suits, white shirts, white ties, or red ties, depending on what church it was. Dad in his full pulpit regalia and the sacredness of it. I remember Pop Scott, we did our communion first Sunday morning. Pop Scott, First Baptist, did his. They baptized on Thursday and then served the supper. So the last Thursday night was baptism in First Baptist. First Sunday was communion. So the people who got baptized had their first communion the following Sunday. So he did that in the evening. He dimmed the lights. Oh, it was moving. It was drama, man. It was drama. So the memories of that. The second thing is, even though we're non-liturgical, Baptist, holiness, Pentecostal, I do think we've got to rediscover some of the sacredness of the rites of the church and the ordinances. I despise how we have made communion almost an addendum to a worship service. So for me, the Christology, the theology, what it says about redemption, the soteriology of it, man, every first Wednesday noon and night is our communion service. And everything, the scriptures, call to worship, the homilies, all around that. I want to lift that. I preached one Wednesday night, where Jesus says, do this in remembrance of me. And I opened up talking about, in Reader's Digest, when we were kids, there was that section, my most unforgettable character. And here was Dr. Proctor said, every sermon has to have a relevant question. Here was my relevant question. Who could forget Jesus? And yet it's almost as if he pleads, don't forget me. Frank, he's begging, do this in remembrance of me. New translation, don't forget me. Don't forget what I've given. Don't forget what I've done. Don't forget who I am.